everyone. This is the 5th Epical Revelation Fellowship. I'm Reverend Dr. Roger Paul. Tonight is October 1st, 2014. Hard to believe. And tonight we're going to go over paper 24, the higher personalities of the infinite spirit. So let's say a little prayer and we'll get started. Father, thank you for this opportunity to share tonight and study this wonderful book that you've given us, this revelation. And pray that you'll open our hearts and minds that we might learn this and understand it and share it with others. We thank you and we give you the praise in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Paper 24, page 264.1 in the original book, and paper 2401 in the new book. So, here we go. We're off. Turn my clicker on. Alright, and this is, I don't know if y'all remember from last year, this is when we were studying all the personalities of the infinite spirit, all the ministering spirits, and that's basically the charts that these are from. Y'all can look at those on your own. Let me go back one here. You can see on this slide, these are the higher personalities of the infinite spirit, and that includes the solitary messengers, the graduate guides, the associative universe circuit supervisors, the censors directors, the associate inspectors, and the assigned sentinels. And we're going to talk about each one of those tonight. Okay, and this is a great picture of all of these beings. You see the solitary messengers, the associate inspectors, the supreme circuit supervisors, the associate circuit supervisors, the secondary circuit supervisor, and the tertiary circuit supervisors. And we also have the assigned sentinels, the census directors on Paradise, Havona, and the super universes, and the local universes, and of course the personal aids in the infinite spirit. So it pretty much covers all of them. All right, here we go. Rodney, would you like to take the first paragraph for us tonight?
Quite certainly. On Versa, we divide all personalities and entities of the conjoint creator into three grand divisions: the higher personalities of the infinite spirit, the messenger host of space, and the ministering spirits of time, those spirit beings who are concerned with teaching and ministering to the will creatures of the ascendant scheme of moral progression.
Okay, and the ones we're going to cover tonight are the higher personalities, right? Okay. Diane?
Those higher personalities of the infinite spirit that find mention in these narratives function throughout the grand universe in 7 divisions. 1. Solitary messengers. 2. Universe circuit supervisors. 3. Census directors. 4. Personal aids of the infinite spirit. 5. Associate inspectors. 6. Assigned sentinels. 7. Graduate guides.
Alright, that's our list for tonight. Solitary messengers, circuit supervisors, census directors, and the personal aids are characterized by the possession of tremendous endowments of anti-gravity. The solitary messengers are without known general headquarters. They roam the universe of universes. The universe circuit supervisors and the census directors maintain headquarters on the capitals of the super universes. The personal aids of the infinite spirit are stationed on the central Isle of Light. The associate inspectors and the assigned sentinels are respectively stationed on the capitals of the local universes and on the capitals of their component systems. The graduate guides are resident in the Havona universe and function on all its billion worlds. Most of these higher personalities have stations in the local universes, but they are not organically attached to the administration of the evolutionary realms. So even though they're attached to the local universe, they do not consider themselves of these local universes. They have a home, each and every one of them. And the central Isle of Light they're talking about there, of course, is Paradise, right? Okay. Rodney, you want to take the next one?
Of the 7 classes composing this group, only the solitary messengers and perhaps the personal aids range the universe of universes. Solitary messengers are encountered from paradise outward, through the Havana circuits, to the super-universe capitals, and thence out through the sectors and local universes, with their subdivisions, and even to the inhabited worlds. All those solitary messengers belong to the higher personalities of the infinite spirit. Their origin, nature, and service have been discussed in the preceding paper.
Remember, the solitary messengers go out through all 7 super universes and into the outer space levels, right? Along with the inspired Trinity spirits, right? Instantly, just about. Okay.
1. The universe circuit supervisors. The vast power currents of space and the circuits of spirit energy may seem to operate automatically. They may appear to function without let or hindrance, but such is not the case. All these stupendous systems of energy are under control. They are subject to intelligent supervision. Universe circuit supervisors are concerned not with the realms of purely physical or material energy, the domain of the universe power directors, but with the circuits of relative spiritual energy, and with those modified circuits which are essential to the maintenance of both the highly developed spiritual beings and the Morancha or
Okay.
transition time of intelligent
Hi,
creatures.
Roger. Are we not going to have Skype tonight?
Yes, we are. Are you out there on Skype? We don't see you.
Well, I clicked it and it doesn't show anybody on.
Really? Restart your Skype, dear. Because I don't see you. I don't see you online.
Okay. Put everything out. And I restarted it once, open.
I thought it was odd she was going
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to get this straightened out.
Nope, it came up again and shows nobody here.
Wow.
Really?
We're
I'm
here.
I'm going to turn my computer off.
Yeah, reboot your computer and then come back on. And if it doesn't come back out, call me back, okay? As soon as I see you pop in, I'll add you. Okay? All right.
Because I've been sitting here since before 7 o'clock. Nothing.
Yeah, we don't see you online at all, so just restart your computer. It's probably your internet connection more than likely. So restart it. It should click back in if that's it.
I had trouble with my internet connection 2 days ago too.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get everything else, but I could not get internet.
Couldn't get Skype.
No.
Okay, try that, Millie, and we'll, as soon as I see you, I'll add you back in, okay?
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm gonna start over.
Huh?
I'm gonna start over.
Oh, you want to start over? Yeah, go ahead.
1. The universe circuit supervisors. The vast power currents of space and the circuits of spirit energy may seem to operate automatically. They may appear to function without let or hindrance, but such is not the case. All these stupendous systems of energy are under control. They are subject to intelligent supervision. Universe circuit supervisors are concerned not with the realms of purely physical or material energy, the domain of the universe power directors, but with the circuits of relative spiritual energy and with those modified circuits which are essential to the maintenance of both the highly developed spiritual beings and the Morancha or transition type of intelligent creatures. The supervisors do not give origin to circuits of energy and
Suppressance of
Suppressance.
Superessence.
superessence of divinity, but in general they have to do with all higher spirit circuits of time and eternity, and with all relative spirit circuits concerned in the administration of the component parts of the grand universe. They direct and manipulate all such spirit energy circuits outside the Isle of Paradise.
Okay, so remember last week when we were talking about the universe power directors, right? And how they go out through all the 7 super universes like a big spider web. Well, this is part of this, the universe circuit supervisors. These also, no,
Jared
doesn't go anywhere. They also take care of the spiritual circuits too. Remember the 4 circuits we talked before? They take care of the spiritual circuits also. Okay, and they do not give origin to the circuits of energy of superessence of divinity. Okay, and that's important, like the Father's personality circuit, right? Okay. But they direct and manipulate all spirit energies outside the Isle of Paradise. Right. Okay. Let's keep
So it says they're essential to the maintenance of both the highly developed spiritual beings
right.
and the Morancha or transition time. So
Creature.
are they
That's right.
considering Morancha transition from physical to spiritual?
Yes,
Well,
that's
Those
exactly.
two separate.
Yeah, no, those are two separate types of beings, Rodney.
Oh.
But there's a transition period from Morancha to a spirit being, you know, and we evolve, right? So all through, all the way from Morancha, all the way through that transition to the 6 types of spirit beings, they control the spirit circuit for that.
Okay.
Okay.
But nothing of the spiritual for mortal man,
All right.
it seems.
Let's see. Universe circuit supervisors are the exclusive creation of the infinite spirit, and they function solely as the agents of the conjoint actor. Rodney, if you see Melly pop in, let me know, okay?
Okay.
They are personalized for service in the following 4 orders: Supreme Circuit Supervisors, Associate Circuit Supervisors, Secondary Circuit Supervisors, and Tertiary Circuit Supervisors. And this is a picture of that. And these are all created by the Infinite Spirit. Okay? Rodney, would you take the next one?
The supreme supervisors, Alphavana, and the associate supervisors of the 7 super universes are of completed numbers. No more of these orders are being created. The supreme supervisors are 7 in number and are stationed on the pilot worlds of the 7 Havana circuits. The circuits of the 7 super universes are in the charge of a marvelous group of 7 associate supervisors who maintain headquarters on the 7 paradise spheres of the infinite spirit, the worlds of the 7 supreme executives. From here, they supervise and direct the circuits of the super universes of space.
Give me 1 second, Rodney. I'm trying to connect up Millie. I see her out there. Well, it popped up that she was out there. Why do I not see her on the list?
I'll see if I can see her. Yeah, I don't have her. She's showing offline on my list.
Yeah, she was. Oh, that's right. So she's offline on mine too.
She must be having internet trouble.
There she is again. See if this will work.
Okay, well, you're calling her?
Yeah, I'm trying to add her to our call. Millie, you out there?
Yes, I finally got you.
Yay!
Great.
Yay, Billy.
Yeah,
Email.
it showed you out there for a second, and then you were gone again.
It went to a little square thing that said it only works if you've got this on your system. And I said, of course I've got it on my system. So it blinked and then it came back up to around Skype and I clicked it again. Yeah, I heard you start and it just went away. So I clicked you again and it worked.
Can you see
Probably, I've got a Adobe Flash Player installer working right now, and that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, it might. Can you see the video, Millie, at all?
No, I see Rodney's picture, but you just circling.
Okay, let me call you both back and see if we can get all 3 of you together here. Okay?
Good.
Rodney back?
I'm back.
Millie,
I'm
you
back.
I'm good.
All right, see if we pop in there. I've got yellow bars, so we probably don't have a great connection. Sorry, everyone at home.
Where are we?
We're on page 265.7, paragraph 7 on page 265. And it starts with Supreme Superior Supervisors of Havana.
I got you.
That's good.
Okay? All right. And Rodney just read this here. Okay. Rodney, would you reread this for Millie? Sorry, at home, we're going to reread this paragraph so that,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, so that she's caught.
The Supreme Supervisors of Havana and the Associate Supervisors of the 7 super universes are of completed numbers. No more of these quarters are being created. The Supreme Supervisors are 7 in number and are stationed on the pilot worlds of the 7 Havana circuits. The circuits of the 7 super universes are in the charge of a marvelous group of 7 associate supervisors who maintain headquarters on the 7 paradise spheres of the infinite spirit, the worlds of the 7 supreme executives. From here, they supervise and direct the circuits of the super universes of space.
Okay, so y'all have to kind of imagine this. These beings are on the pilot worlds of the 7 super universes, right? Let's see if there's a picture here. I believe there's a picture in the next slide. Here we go. Okay, so this is the pilot worlds here. You see this? And they are on each of the pilot world on each of the 7 of Havana, right? And and it says here the Supreme Supervisors of Havana and Associate Supervisors of 7 super years are complete money. No more of these creation. Okay, and these are the ones that stationed on the pilot worlds.
But none of them are on our super universes.
No, these are on the pilot worlds. But let's go back here once, okay? But let's see. The 7 associate supervisors maintain headquarters on the 7 paradise spheres of the infinite spirit. Remember the 7 spheres that surround paradise, that are of this infinite spirit?
Yes.
And they are on the worlds of the 7 supreme executives, and from there they supervise and direct the spirits of the 7 super universes.
Okay.
You follow
Got it.
me? Okay, so that's a totally different group. All right, let's keep going on. Mine? Me yet? I think I'm up. On the paradise spheres of the spirit, the 7 associate circuit supervisors and the first order of the supreme power centers. Remember we talked about them last week on paper 29, right? Affect a liaison which, under the direction of the supreme executives, results in the sub-paradise coordination of all material and spiritual circuits passing out of the 7 super universes. So we have they're talking about 2 different entities here, right? The material circuits and the spiritual circuits, right? The material circuits include all matter, all energy, everything, right? The spiritual circuits have to do with all spirit beings, okay? So they direct both of these, and the supreme power centers, which we talked about last week, are involved with this, with the associate circuit supervisors.
I have difficulty with the word circuits.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well, you have to think of it as I think of it as wiring. You know, if you wire a house, and the circuits would be the wiring of a house, and it all comes from a hub, which is what? Where your breakers are, your breaker box, right? So the associate supervisors would be the breaker box in the house, really. And from there, all circuits go out from there. So all the lines of of power that goes out to your house would be associated with these circuits. These lines of power go out to all the 7 super universes, and it's not only power, but it's spiritual energy as well, right? And the mindful circuits work the same way. Okay? That
That's a
makes
good
sense?
example.
Huh?
That's a good example.
All right. Does that make it a little more clear? Okay.
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay. And this is the a picture of the the 7 supreme executives. Okay, and the associate supervisors on the worlds of the infinite spirit. And from these worlds, remember, in between this is Havona, right? But from these worlds, they control all the circuits for all 7 of the super universes. I love her slides. They're wonderful. Okay. Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes. On the headquarters worlds of each super universe are stationed the secondary supervisors for the local universes of time and space. The major and minor sectors are administrative division of the super governments, but are not concerned in these matters of spirit energy supervision. I do not know how many secondary circuit supervisors there are in the grand universe, but on Uversa there are 84,691 of these beings. Secondary supervisors are being created right along. From time to time they appear in groups of 70 on the worlds of the supreme executives. We obtain them on requisition as we arrange for the establishment of separate circuits of spirit energy and liaison power to the newly evolving universes of our jurisdiction.
So we're talking about spiritual energy here, right? Which is different than the physical energy, okay? So what they're talking about here are these beings being stationed on these planets, and as they are needed, they requisition more of them. Right, so as the super universe grows, they'll have more and more and more. So just because on Uversa there's 84,691, that does not mean on another headquarters of another super universe that there would be exactly the same number, because the development of that super universe is going to be different than our super universe. So they're not going to match exactly, right? Because as they are needed, they are added. He's going to watch our video too.
Spotty.
Spotty. No, that's Prince back here. Okay. And this is a picture of these secondary circuit supervisors, and they're stationed on Uversa, okay, which is our local, on our super universe headquarters, right? All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Okay. Turkish. How do you pronounce that again?
Tertiary, a tertiary circuit supervisor.
What does tertiary mean?
Means 3, the 3rd level. Okay? You got
Yes.
primary, secondary, and tertiary. So tertiary would be the 3rd level of a circuit supervisor down. Right?
Thank you.
Okay.
A tertiary circuit supervisor functions in the headquarters world of every local universe. This order, like the secretary supervisors, is a continuous creation, being created in groups of 700. They are assigned to the local universes by the Ancients of Days.
Okay, so we have the primary circuit supervisors that take care of Havana, right? Or the 7 super universes, I'm sorry. And we got the secondary, which are stationed at what? Uversa, right? That's the 2nd level. So the 3rd level, it would be the local universes, right? And those are the tertiary circuit supervisors. And they would be stationed where in our local universe? That would be Salvington, right? That's the headquarters of our local universe. So they would function on Salvington, and they're assigned by the Ancients of Days as they are needed, right? Okay. And this is a picture of that. And you can see Salvington down here, and this is the tertiary circuit supervisor, and they're created in groups of 700. Okay? Now this is the spiritual circuit supervisors we're still talking about. right? Okay.
Circuit supervisors are created for their specific task, and they eternally serve the groups of their original assignment. They are not rotated in service and hence make an age-long study of the problems found in the realm of their original assignment. For example, tertiary circuit supervisor number 572,842 has functioned on Salvington since the early concept of your local universe, and he is a member of the personal staff of Michael of Nebadon.
Okay, so once they're assigned, they don't ever leave, right? They stay in the same position always, right? Interesting, they had the exact number of him too there, doesn't it? Whether acting in the local or higher universes, circuit supervisors direct all concerns as to the proper circuits to employ for the transmission of all spirit messages and for the transit of all personalities. So he's not only in charge of the spiritual messages, but he's in charge of all transit of personalities in and out of the local universe, right? In their work, a circuit circuit supervision, these efficient beings utilize all agencies, forces, and personalities in the universe of universes. They employ the unreal high spirit personalities of circuit control. They are ably assisted by numerous staffs composed of personalities of the infinite spirit. It is they who would isolate an evolutionary world if its planetary prince should rebel against the universal father and his vicegerent son. They are able to throw any world out of certain universe circuits of the higher spiritual order, but they cannot annul the material currents of the power directors. So, it is these beings that cut Urantia off during the rebellion. You follow me? The circuit supervisors. So when we became an isolated world and we were cut out of the spiritual circuit, it was these beings who did that. And they do this on an automatic level on any planet that rebels. So all 39 planets that rebelled against the sun, the same exact thing happened, right? But they cannot annul the material currents. So all the material circuits are still there, right? That they cannot do. Okay, so since Michael settled the sovereignty of the universe, right? At any point they could restore the circuit, right? The spiritual circuits, all right? And that's an important point, all right? Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes. The universe circuit supervisors has something of the same relationship to the spirit circuits that the universe power directors have to the material circuits. The two orders are complemental, together having the oversight of all spiritual and all material circuits that are controllable and manipulable by creatures.
Okay, so think of this again. The spiritual circuits were cut off. The material circuits were not. So the universe power directors of the material circuits did not change during the rebellion, did it? Only the spiritual circuits.
Yeah, really.
Good thing, yeah, you know.
That would have, yeah.
The glue that keeps us all together, right? All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Okay, the circuit supervisors exercise certain oversight over those mind circuits, which are spirit associated, much as the power directors have certain jurisdiction over those phases of mind which are physical energy associated, mechanical mind. In general, the functions of each order are expanded by liaison with the other, but the circuits of pure mind are subject to the supervision of neither. Neither are the two orders coordinate. In all their manifold labors, the universe circuit supervisors are subject to the seven supreme power directors and their subordinates.
So even though they control the spirit, they are still supervised by the 7 supreme power directors, right? Everything's got checks and balances, right? It also says here that in general the functions of each order are expanded by liaison with each other, but the circuits of pure mind are subject to the supervision of neither. So the mind circuit has nothing to do with either one of these, right?
But that is from the infinite spirit.
That is from the infinite spirit. But that is only controlled by the 7 supreme power directors and their subordinates. Okay.
While the circuit supervisors are entirely alike within their respective orders, they are all distinct individuals. They are truly personal beings, but they possess a type of other than father endowed personality, not encountered in any other type of creature in all universal existence.
Probably bestowed by whom? The infinite spirit, right? Because that's who creates them. Okay. Although you will recognize and know them as you journey inward towards paradise, you will have no personal relations with them. They are circuit supervisors, and they attend strictly and efficiently to their business. They deal solely with those personalities and entities having the oversight of those activities, which are concerned with the circuit subject to their supervision. So they're not one you'll find out playing on your way to paradise. Okay? Millie, would you take the next one here?
Number 2, the census directors. Notwithstanding that the cosmic mind of the universal intelligence is cognizant of the presence and whereabouts of all thinking creatures, there is operative in the universe of universes an independent method of keeping count of all will creatures.
All right, we're going to keep going. This is really kind of interesting. Rodney, would you take the next one?
All right. Excuse me. The census directors are a special and completed creation of the infinite spirit, and they exist in numbers unknown to us. They are so created as to be able to maintain perfect synchrony with the reflectivity technique of the super universes, while at the same time they are personally sensitive and responsive to intelligent will. These directors, by a not fully understood technique, are made immediately aware of the birth of will in any part of the grand universe. They are, therefore, always competent to give us the number, nature, and whereabouts of all will creatures in any part of the central creation and the 7 super universes. But they do not function on paradise. There is no need for them there. On paradise, knowledge is inherent. The deities know all things.
Okay, so they don't need them on paradise, right? But outside of paradise, these census directors immediately sense when a new will creature is born or dies. Okay?
So I've got a question about that.
Yeah.
Now, the thought adjuster appears when we make the first moral decision.
Right.
Is that when we're registered as a will creature?
Yeah.
Or we're literally born, or when we're
Well,
conceived?
I think that we're registered as a will creature at birth. Okay.
Or
So-
at conception, maybe.
At conception, probably, or at birth. I think they say later on somewhere it's actually at birth that you're considered a full sanctioned being or a will creature.
So what's your
Before
material-
that, you're a attachment to your parents, your mother, basically.
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
the census director, soon as you are actually conceived, born as a baby, then you're
independent of another human.
independent of another human. Before that, you're always dependent on your mother. When you're independent of that mother, you become a will creature. Now, your free will and your decision-making process really starts with the adjuster, right? Because at
Okay.
that point, you have someone to help you along. But until then, you're still considered part of your parents, right? If you die before you get an adjuster, you awaken when your parents reach paradise, right? But still, you're considered a will creature soon as you are born. Now, the other thing is, the moment that you pass, you die from this earth, the censor directors know this, okay? And why would that be? It's because you go from one form of existence immediately to a new form of existence. You pass from being a mortal to what? A Morancha being. So you change as far as the censor directors are concerned. Now, there's one other thing that we need to mention here. They also know when you die completely. When do you die completely? You die completely if you choose not to survive, right?
Yeah, of course they would know that.
They would know that. So if you choose not to go on to the mansion worlds, or you do not believe in the mansion worlds, or you do not believe in God at death, they consider you non-existent. You follow me? Because you have literally died spiritually. Does that make sense? And that's part of the census director's jobs. So they can account for every living will creature that's alive in all 7 of the super universes at any given moment. Account for them. Now, why is this not necessary in paradise? Because all the paradise beings are created perfect, okay? And so no accounting is necessary for them. They never default. So they never what? They never die, right? So there's no need for the census director to keep track of them. Does that make sense?
Well, even when a spiritualized mortal being is in Havana, there's no need to count that either, right?
That's wrong. Because
Right.
at that point they become what? They become part of the core of finality. And they always number the core of finality. And the reason being, Rodney, if you go through the trinitization process, many of the trinitization processes removes you from the core of finality. And they have to keep track of all of the core of finality. Okay? Because why? The core of finality goes back out into the 7 super universes, don't they? They don't stay perfect in paradise. That's part of that be perfect even as I am perfect, right?
Right.
We strive for perfection, but even when we become part of the core of finality, we are still only what? 6th stage spirits. We're not 7th stage spirits. We will not achieve that, they think, all of the core of finality when the Supreme Being comes into full fruition, and that won't happen until all 7 super universes reach light and life. See, it all fits together? One thing feeds off of another. That's a long explanation, isn't it? Okay. All right. And this is a picture of the census directors. And this is the reserve directors on Paradise Worlds of the Spirit. The seven census directors of Havona. They keep track of all Havona beings, right? The 7 census directors of the 7 super universes. They track everybody in the 7 super universes. And the census directors on the local universe. And there's another step to this. We'll find out in a second here. All right. You want to take the next one, dear?
7 census directors operate in Havona, one being stationed on the pilot world of each Havona circuit. Excepting these 7 and the reserves of the order on the Paradise Worlds of the Spirit, all census directors function under the jurisdiction of the Ancients of Days.
All right. And this is the census directors on the pilot worlds again, right? All right. One census director presides at the headquarters of each super universes. While subject to such a chief director are thousands upon thousands, one on the capital of every local universe. Our personalities of this order are equal except those on the Havona pilot worlds and the 7 super universe chiefs. And this is a picture of that. This is Eustacia, the super universe chief of the Orvanton directors. Okay, Orvanton directors. That's our super universe. Okay, and then of course we have one on Salvington and all the other, one on each of the capital of each local universe. All right, Millie, would you take the next one?
In the 7th super universe, there are 100,000 census directors, and this number consists entirely of those assignable to the local universes. It does not include the personal staff of Eustacia, the super universe chief of all Orvanton directors. Eustacia, like the other super universe chiefs, is not directly attuned to the registration of intelligent will. He is solely attuned to his subordinates stationed in the Orvanton universes. Thus, he acts as the magnificent, totaling personality for their reports coming in from the capitals of the local creations.
Okay, so there's 100,000 census directors because there's 100,000 local universes in each 7 super universe, right? Eustacia himself does not recognize will creatures when they come, live and die. He is the totaling agent of all the rest of them. Okay, so he works like a big calculator, right? So when these 100,000 census directors notify him that someone has died or someone is living, he automatically adds that calculation to the total, right? He's the totaling agent for all of them. He personally does not sense every single being, okay? Only the local, the 100,000 census directors do that, right? For each of their local universes, okay? All right, Rodney, would you take the next one?
Surely. From time to time, the official reporters of Uversa place on their records the status of the super universe as it is indicated by the registrations in and upon the personality of Eustacia. Such census data is indigenous to the super universes. These reports are transmitted neither to Havana nor to Paradise.
Okay, so they stay locally at the super universe headquarters, right? Okay. Sweetie, would you take the next one?
The census directors are concerned with human beings, as with other will creatures, only to the extent of recording the fact of will function. They are not concerned with the records of your life and its doings. They are not in any sense recording personalities. The census director of Nebadon, number 41,412 of Orvanton.
81,412.
What is it?
41,000.
81,412 of Orvanton, now stationed on Salvington, is at this very moment personally conscious and aware of your living presence here on your rancho, and he will afford the records confirmation of your death the moment you cease to function as a will creature.
Okay, so
He
you
has no reaction other than that.
no, other than that, just the fact that you died,
I'm a fact to him.
you're a fact to him, that's right. And he'll record the fact that you're now a Morancha being, right?
Yes.
Census directors register the existence of a new will creature when the first act of will is performed. They indicate the death of a will creature when the last act of will takes place. Now here's the question.
I know, I had that question.
Here's the question. When is the first act of will performed? Is that the first time that a baby makes a decision to cry? Is that the first time they make a will decision? Or is it the first time they make a moral decision?
And he receive a thought adjustment.
And if he does that, he receives a thought adjuster. Very
Well,
interesting.
I'm concerned with what is the last act of
The
will.
last act of will would be right before you pass from this world.
Okay, so once you're Maracha, you're not considered a will creature.
Well, you still are. All creatures, all the way, even spirit beings, has will. But what they're determining whether you're still mortal, Rodney. I think that's the big thing. Okay, let's go on, and I want to finish this paragraph before we get too far in it. The partial emergence of will observed in the reactions of certain of the higher animals does not belong to the domain of the census directors. They keep count of nothing but bona fide will creatures, and they are responsive to nothing but will function. Exactly how they register the function of will, we do not know. So they do not keep track of any animal, only human. Okay? Does that make sense?
Is there anybody that takes care of just the animals?
Huh?
Is there anybody that we've read about?
Local Universe Mother Spirit.
Does she keep count of the animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's aware of every animal, every type of being. Okay?
Did you decide what the first act of will was?
No. See, that's a big question.
Maybe it's the
Millie?
first breath or something.
It could be the first breath. The first act of will may be survival.
Yeah.
You know, taking the first breath and continuing to breathe. That would be a will decision, I
would be, yeah.
guess. But you could argue that the first real will decision is the first moral decision, and that's when the thought adjuster comes. You know, they leave it kind of out there, you know, a little bit. So
I think there's a difference between will and moral decisions.
I do too, but
Yeah.
that's
But
our
I-
opinion. You know.
I think it's the first thing that the babe does when it leaves its mother.
That's what I would
The
think
first
too.
independent thought.
First independent
When they
thought.
smack him and he cries, I mean, that's will.
That's will. I mean, you would think it would be.
I
wouldn't you?
will cry.
Yeah. Why would he cry unless he had a will to do so? Right.
Breathing is not done by will. It's just automatic.
No, that's the autonomic nervous system.
But reacting to
But-
pain,
Yeah, reaction
That's
is
good.
always a willful response, right? All right. Am I up next? I'm lost. No, Millie's up next. Sorry.
these beings always have been and always will be census directors. They would be comparatively useless in any other division of universe labor, but they are infallible in function. They never default, neither do they falsify. Notwithstanding their marvelous powers and unbelievable prerogatives, they are persons. They have recognizable spirit presence and form.
You can't ever take a moment away from your job, though.
No, we're on call all the
Darn.
time. Right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
No vacations
Oh.
with them,
No.
Yeah, I was just, didn't we find out solitary messengers are really, excuse me, without form?
That's
Right.
right. Yeah.
But these guys have form.
These guys have form, they have a personal body, and they are persons. So just because they do this marvelous totaling thing, it's part of their essence, in essence, basically.
Hmm.
You know, so
If they have will, it is their will to do their job.
that's right. That's right.
They don't have will to do anything else.
That's right. They're
So
perfect.
they're not free will creatures.
Yeah, they're free will
They-
creatures, but
They
they
are
never.
will creatures, but they're not free will creatures.
No, they're still considered free will personalities, Millie, but they always choose to do their job perfectly, as they always have done. You know, probably because of the way they're created.
That's a concept, okay?
Hmm.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Okay, number 3, the personal aids of the infinite spirit. We have not authentic knowledge. We have no, excuse me, we have no authentic knowledge as to the time or manner of the creation of the personal aids. Their number must be legion, but it is not of record and universal. From conservative deductions, based on our knowledge of their work, I venture to estimate that their number exceeds high into the trillions. We hold the opinion that the infinite spirit is not limited as to numbers in the creation of these personal aids.
Now, think of the name, personal aids of the Infinite Spirit. They work solely at the bidding of the Infinite Spirit. Okay, so they aid the Infinite Spirit in whatever he or she wants to do, right? All right.
The personal aids of the Infinite Spirit exist for the exclusive assistance of the paradise presence of the third person of deity. Although attached directly to the Infinite Spirit and located on paradise, they flash to and fro to the uttermost parts of creation. Wherever the circuits of the conjoint Creator extend, there these personal aids may appear for the purpose of executing the bidding of the Infinite Spirit. They traverse space much as do the solitary messengers, but are not persons in the sense that the messengers are.
So they can go probably as fast as the solitary messengers, but they're not persons in the sense of the solitary messengers. They're probably pure spirit form of some form. Okay? Personal aids are all equal and identical. They disclose no differentiation of individuality. Though the conjunct actor looks upon them as true personalities, it is difficult for others to regard them as real persons. They do not manifest a spirit presence to other spirit beings, so you would know they were there. Paradise origin beings are always aware of the proximity of these aids, but we do not recognize a personality presence. The lack of such a presence form undoubtedly renders them all the more serviceable to the third person of deity. In the room, you wouldn't know it, right?
She would know.
She would know it, or he would know it.
She.
Millie.
Of all the revealed orders of spirit being taking origin in the Infinite Spirit, the personal aids are about the only ones you will not encounter on your inward ascent to paradise.
Why? Because you won't recognize them, right?
They must be almost inseparable to the Infinite Spirit.
Yeah. And that's why they look like just
Yeah.
ether on these pictures, you know? They're not a recognizable form. All right. Rodney, would you take the next one, the associate inspectors?
Number 4, the associate inspectors. The 7 supreme executives and the 7 paradise spheres of the Infinite Spirit collectively function as the administrative board of super managers for the 7 super universes. The associate inspectors are the personal embodiment of the authority of the supreme executives to the local universes of time and space. These high observers of the affairs of the local creations are the joint offspring of the Infinite Spirit and the 7 master spirits of paradise. In the near times of eternity, 700,000 were personalized, and their reserve core abides from paradise.
Okay, so if an associate inspector shows up and says, this is the way it needs to be, that comes from the supreme executives or the 7 master spirits, so you take heed to them, right? That's why they're called associate inspectors. They inspect all the universe and make sure it's going according to the will of the 7 master spirits and the 7 supreme executives, right? And this is a picture of that, okay? And the Infinite Spirit, the 7 master spirits, and the associate inspectors who represent these master spirits to the universes, right? All right. So if they have, one of the master spirits has something they want done, they send out these associate inspectors and they make sure that it gets taken care of, right? Okay. Sweet.
Associate inspectors work under the direct supervision of the 7 supreme executives, being their personal and powerful representatives to the local universes of time and space. An inspector is stationed on the headquarters sphere of each local creation and is a close associate of the resident union of days.
Union of days being the representation of the Trinity, right? So what would they do? They would, through reflectivity, send a message to the associate inspector And he would probably communicate this with the Union of Days, and the Union of Days may turn around and communicate this to the local creator zone, right? All right. The associate inspectors receive reports and recommendations only from their subordinates and the assigned sentinel stationed on the capitals of the local systems of inhabited worlds, while they make reports only to their immediate supervisor, the supreme executive of the super universe concerned. So they answer only to the supreme executives, right, of the master spirits. Okay. Millie, would you take the next one?
Number 5, the assigned sentinels. The assigned sentinels are coordinating personalities and liaison representatives of the 7 supreme executives. They were personalized on Paradise by the Infinite Spirit and were created for the specific purpose of their assignment. They are of stationary number, and there are exactly 7 billion in existence.
Quite a few, aren't they? And these are the representatives, the assigned sentinels. If you think about a sentinel, what is he does? He stands watch, right, on everything. He's a watcher, right? And he is the representative of the 7 supreme executives. Okay, and this is a picture of them. Yeah, right.
I'm wondering, is that 7 billion for what now? For
7
super
billion.
universe?
There's a billion for each super universe.
Okay, 1 billion for each. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Much as an associate inspector represents the 7 supreme executives to a whole local universe, so in each of the 10,000 systems of that local creation, there is an assigned sentinel who acts as a direct representative of the far distant and supreme board of super control for the affairs of all 7 super universes. The sentinels on duty in the local system governments of Orvanton are acting under the direct authority of Supreme Executive Number 7, the coordinator of the 7th super universe. But in their administrative organization, all sentinels commissioned in a local universe are subordinate to the associate inspector stationed at universe headquarters.
Okay, so there's a pecking order, isn't there? Right. So the assigned sentinel answers to the associate inspector, right? And there's one for each of the local universes, right? All right.
Within a local creation, the assigned sentinels serve in rotation, being transferred from system to system. They are usually changed every millennium of local universe time. They are among the highest ranking personalities stationed on a system capital, but they never participate in deliberations concerned with system affairs. In the local systems, they serve as the ex officio heads of the 4 and 20 administrators hailing from the evolutionary worlds, but otherwise ascending mortals have little contact with them. The sentinels are almost exclusively concerned in keeping the associate inspector of their universe fully informed on all matters relating to the welfare and state of the systems of their assignment.
Okay, so they're, again, the watchers, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they watch what's going on, making sure everything is copacetic and everything is is going the way it's supposed to, right? Even to the 24 counselors, right?
That's interesting.
That's our 20. We are the, we have 24 counselors for this planet, so they help guide them, make sure everything is running according to the way it's supposed to, right? Assigned sentinels and associate inspectors do not report to the supreme executives through a super universe headquarters. They are responsible solely to the supreme executive of the super universe concerned. Their activities are distinct from the administration of this Ancients of Days. Okay, so think about this. The assigned sentinels and the associate inspectors report directly back to the supreme executive. They don't go through the Ancients of Days. Their reports are not influenced by the Ancients of Days, the local system rulers like Michael or anyone else. They report directly back to the supreme executives. So they get a first-hand report directly from each and every local universe, uncensored in any form from the Ancients of Days, right?
Well, I think that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. It's checks and balances, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The supreme executives, associate inspectors, and assigned sentinels, together with the Omnifem and a host of other unrevealed personalities, constitute an efficient, direct, centralized, but far-flung system of advisory and administrative coordination of all the grand universe of things and beings. Okay? So there is control from the top all the way down, right? And the Omnifem, we know that's part of a higher level of angel too, right?
That's what the Omniaphone is, right?
Omnifem, right, right. Okay. The graduate guides. I think that's you. Yeah. Wait a minute, did I just read who just?
I didn't
Millie.
hear Millie.
Millie, would you take the next one, the graduate guides?
6. The graduate guides. The graduate guides, as a group, sponsor and conduct the University of Technical Instruction, the High University of Technical Instruction and Spiritual Training, which is so essential to mortal attainment of the goal of the ages, God, rest, and then eternity of perfect service. These highly personal beings take their name from the nature and purpose of their work. They are exclusively devoted to the task of guiding the mortal graduates from the super universes of time through the Havona course of instruction and training, which serves to prepare the ascending pilgrim for admission to paradise and the core finality.
These are the beings that go all the way through with you, right? And they help you along. They don't tell us all the work, though. Rodney, would you take the next one?
I am not forbidden to undertake to tell you of the work of these graduate guides, but it is so ultra spiritual that I desire of being
Despair
able,
of being.
Despair.
Yeah.
but that I despair of being able to adequately portray to the material mind a concept of their manifold activities. On the matching worlds, after your vision range is extended and you are freed from the fetters of material comparisons, you can begin to comprehend the meaning of those realities which I cannot see nor ear hear, and which have never entered the concept of human minds, even those things which God has prepared for those who love such eternal variety.
Verities.
Verities. You are not always to be so limited in the range of your vision and spiritual comprehension.
So there's much to learn that we have no concept of, right? That's what Jesus, when Jesus was talking about the eye has not seen nor ear heard of the things that God has prepared for you, right? So you take the next one.
The graduate guides are engaged in piloting the pilgrims of time through the 7 circuits of Havana worlds. The guide who greets you upon your arrival on the receiving world of the outer Havana circuit will remain with you throughout your entire career on the heavenly circuits. Though you will associate with countless other personalities during your sojourn on a billion worlds, your graduate guide will follow you to the end of your Havana progression and will witness your entrance into the terminal slumber of time, the sleep of eternity transit to the paradise goal, where upon awakening you will be greeted by the paradise companion assigned to welcome you and perhaps to remain with you until you are initiated as a member of the mortal core of the finality.
So all the way through Havana, you will have the same graduate guide, right? And he will stay with you all the way till you get on the transport to paradise, and then when you wake on Paradise, you will have a new companion, a Paradise companion, who will stay with you until you become a member of the Cora Finality. Never alone, right? All right. A number of graduate guides is beyond the power. Of graduate guides is beyond the power of human minds to grasp, and they continue to appear. Their origin is something of a mystery. They have not existed from eternity. They mysteriously appear as they are needed. There is no record of a graduate guide in all the realm of the central universe until that far distant day when the first mortal pilgrim of time made his way to the outer belt of the central creation. The instant the arrival of on the pilot world of the outer circuit, he was met with friendly greetings by Mavorian, the first of the graduate guides, and now the chief of their supreme counselor and the director of their vast educational organization. And guess who that was?
Grand
Grand
Fonda.
Fonda, right?
So they were only created when they were actually needed.
Yep, as they were needed.
Could you imagine to be the very first mortal?
No, I can't even
Oh, man.
comprehend that. Millie, would you take the next one?
On the Paradise Records of Havana, in the section denominated Graduate Guides, there appears this initial entry. And Malvarian, the first of this order, did greet and instruct the pilgrim discoverer of Havana, and did conduct him from the outer circuits of initial experience, step by step and circuit by circuit, until he stood in the very presence of the source and destiny of all personality, subsequently crossing the threshold of eternity to paradise.
The very first one.
They don't even give his name.
No, but we know it's Grand
Grand
Fonda.
Fonda, yeah.
Yeah. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Love
Yeah,
that
I
train
just want-
whistle, Millie.
Yeah.
That train's-
I've got the windows open, so we
Oh,
hear
it's-
the train.
It's
I'm sorry
wonderful.
about
No,
that.
I love it, it's wonderful.
No, it's fine. I'm just wondering if there's gonna be a door prize.
Door prize.
When we get, when we get,
You have won eternity.
The
That's
lights will
right.
all flash.
That's right. It's behind the first door. Okay. Rodney, would you take the next?
at that far distant time, I was attached to the service of the ancient days on Universal, and we all rejoiced in the assurance that eventually pilgrims from our super universe would reach Havana. For ages we had been taught that the evolutionary creatures of space would attain paradise, and the thrill of all time swept through the heavenly courts when the first pilgrim actually arrived.
So imagine this. They've been told for millions of years that humans were coming.
Interesting.
And finally the first one shows up.
The British are coming.
It was kind of like Adam and Eve. They were told for years and years, you know, that they were preparing for Adam and Eve to come, and then one day, when no one really expected it, they showed up.
That's right. And that's the same way that Christ will show up.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
we don't know what time, what date, we don't know how long it'll be, but one day he will come, you know. Okay? Guess it's you.
Oh, the name of this pilgrim discoverer of Havana is Grand Fonda, and he hailed from planet 341 of System 84 in constellation 62 of local universe 1131, situated in super universe number 1. Was a signal for the establishment of the broadcast service of the universe of universes. Theretofore, only the broadcast of the super universes and the local universes had been in operation, but the announcement of the arrival of Grand Fonda at the portals of Havana signalized the inauguration of the Space Reports of Glory, so named because the initial universe broadcast reported the Havana arrival of the first of the evolutionary beings to attain entrance upon the goal of ascendant existence.
Space Reports of Glory. They're reporting of the
It was working.
humans.
The system worked, the
The
ascendant
system
plan
work.
worked.
The ascendant plan
Yeah.
work. That's right. All right. Graduate guides never leave the Havana worlds. They are dedicated to the service of the graduate pilgrims of time and space, and you will sometimes meet these noble beings face to face if you do not reject the certain and all perfected plan designed to affect your survival and ascension.
So, and then I question there too, we can reject the plan up until the time that we fuse.
We can.
So even on the mansion world.
Even on the mansion world, you can reject survival.
I have a question on the previous paragraph.
Okay?
Local universe 1131 situated in superverse universe number 1. I thought every superverse universe had 1,000 universes. This is
You're right,
1,131.
I thought that was the case too.
No, this is a local universe.
Oh.
Each super universe has 100,000 local universes.
100,000, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the same feeling though.
Okay. Can we?
You know, you would think that he would hail from planet number 1 of system number 1.
You would think so, but no one from that planet eventually progressed to that point, did they, Rodney?
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is interesting. All right. I don't know. Is I up? Am I up? I think I am. Origin of the graduate guides, number 7. Though evolution is not the order of the central universe, we believe that the graduate guides are the perfected and more experienced members of another order of central universe creatures, the Havona Servitals. Graduate guides show a breadth of sympathy and such a capacity for understanding the ascended creatures that we are convinced that they have gained this culture by actual service in the super universe realms as the Havona Servitals of universe ministry. If this view is correct,
Not correct.
or not correct, how can we account for the continuous disappearance of the senior and more experienced servitals?
And they always stay on the roller too.
They go for the brace of the Father, remember, and they are not. They disappear,
Right.
right? That's why they think that this is the
They
source.
graduate to the graduate guides.
They graduate to the graduate guides because they go for the embrace of the Father and estates, and they are not.
That's
right.
how they just appear.
That's right. All right,
Strange.
Millie.
I didn't understand any of that.
I still
A,
have
a servitor will be long absent from Havana on super universe assignment, having been on many such missions previously, will return home. He granted the privilege of personal contact with the Paradise Central Shining. What's the Paradise Central Shining?
That would be God the Father.
Will be embraced by the luminous persons
All
and
three.
disappear from the recognition of his spirit fellows. The Paradise Shining is the Trinity.
The Trinity. Right. Right.
Well, the Paradise Central shining is the Father and embraced by the luminous persons.
Persons.
So that would be,
Yeah, the Trinity.
Trinity.
All three
All
persons
three,
of the
yeah.
Trinity. Right. Go ahead, Millie.
On returning from super universe service, a Havona servitor may enjoy numerous divine embraces and emerge therefrom merely an exalted servitor. Experiencing the luminous embrace does not necessarily signify that the servitor must translate into a graduate guide, but almost 1/4 of those who achieve the divine embrace never return to the service of the realms.
So this is why they think they become gravident guy. Okay, and here's the quote. Rodney.
okay, let's hear that number, Rodney.
no problem. There appears on the high records of succession of such entries as this. I've got to break this in my mind.
Okay, I'll help you. And servital
Wait, let me
number.
see if I can get it.
Oh, okay.
100,000 million. Okay. And servital number 842 trillion, 842 billion, 682 million, 846,000, 782 of Havana, named Sutma, came over from the Super Universe service, was received on Paradise, knew the Father, entered the divine embrace, and is not.
That's what I was talking about a while ago, okay? He gets embraced by the Father, and he is no longer the entity he was before, okay? Is not.
He's gone.
He's
Just gone.
He's gone, disappears. And that's why they think they appear as the graduate guides, okay?
They
They change their whole being because of the embrace of the Father. Isn't that interesting?
It makes you wonder if you want to be embraced by the Father.
Must be a glorious service to do this. Have the privilege of doing this. So, I love that, is embraced, entered into the divine grace and is not. Okay. Dear, would you take the next one?
When such an entry appears on the records, the career of such a servitor is closed. But in just 3 moments, a little less than 3 days of your time, a newborn graduate guide spontaneously appears on the outer circuit of the Havana universe. And the number of graduate guides allowing for a slight difference, due no doubt to those in transition, exactly equals the number of vanished servitors.
Aha.
That's
Aha! It all comes together, doesn't it? All right. And this is the
a newborn graduate guide.
the servitals transforming into the newborn graduate guides, the 7 circuits.
It's the depth of their beingness that also reinforces that concept.
Yeah,
Because you couldn't get that kind of experience unless you experienced it.
that's right. There's an additional reason for supposing the graduate guides to be evolved Havana servitals, and that is the unfailing tendency of these guides and their associate servitals to form such extraordinary attachments. The manner in which these supposedly separate orders of beings understand and sympathize with one another is wholly inexplicable. Explicable. It is refreshing and inspiring to witness their mutual devotion. Okay, Billy, would you take the next one?
The 7 master spirits and the associated 7 supreme power directors, respectively, are the personal repositories of the mind potential of the power potential of the Supreme Being, which he does not as yet operate personally. And when these Paradise associates collaborate to create Havana servitals, the latter are inherently involved in certain phases of supremacy. Havana servitals are thus, in actuality, a reflection in the perfect central universe of certain evolutionary potentialities of the time and space domains, all of which is disclosed when a servital undergoes transformation and recreation. We believe that this transformation takes place in response to the will of the Infinite Spirit, undoubtedly acting in behalf of the Supreme. Graduate guides are not created by the Supreme Being, but we all conjecture that experiential deity is in some way concerned in those transactions which bring these beings into existence.
Because so it's somehow connected of the experience of the Supreme with these beings, and that's what helps transform them. Because of their experiential experience, they become perfect guides for those who have experience along the way going to paradise. It's like a perfect system.
It is.
Pretty amazing. Rodney, would you take the next one? The last one?
Havana now traversed by ascending mortals, differs in many respects from the central universe as it was before the times of Gran Fondo. The arrival of more mortal ascenders on the Havana circuits inaugurated sweeping modifications in the organization of the central and divine creation, modifications undoubtedly initiated by the Supreme Being, the God of evolutionary creatures. in response to the arrival of the first of his experiential children from the 7 superuniverses. The appearance of the graduate guides, together with the creation of the tertiary supernatum, is indicative of these performances of God the Supreme. And this is presented by a divine counselor of Universal.
Okay, so we've gone through that again. We did this in October of last year. I think I'll leave both videos out there in Vimeo, so you can listen to both. There's probably things we talked about in the first one we didn't talk about in the next one, so I'll leave both the videos out there. Did y'all enjoy this paper tonight?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Inspirational,
Quite
very
interesting, isn't it?
inspirational.
Let's have a little prayer and we'll quit for the evening. Rodney, would you like to close for us tonight in prayer?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to come together, and we thank you for Roger's service for us. And we are glad and happy that we were able to study this paper, number 24 of the Higher Personalities of the Infinite Spirit. And hopefully this material will sink into our consciousness so that we're able to relate it to others. And in all this, we thank you, and your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Folks, thank you at home for joining us. Please come see us again. God bless you. Next time we will be studying paper 30, I think.